I'm at Springfield Local Schools this morning, and we're talking about the kiddos and getting them caught up. Maybe they fell behind a little bit during the pandemic. I'm joined this morning by Taryn Miley. She does curriculum specifically with the youngsters or elementary school. So what have you found following the pandemic once the kids return to the classroom full time?
Yeah, so what I would say is what we are finding is that students just need a few more supports. We need to walk beside them to make sure that we provide them with all the additional scaffolding or guidance that they need to make sure that they are on their way to becoming literate adults. So we've really done a lot with, throughout the pandemic, with having a little listener story time on our radio station. We've also had videos that we've sent out to families to help support their literacy needs. What we really try to do is once they're back in class with us, we try to immerse them in rich literature. We actually have a new curriculum, specifically in grades K through 3 right now. We are really trying to get the books in their hands because we know that during the pandemic they were on in a digital format, and we know kids still need to touch books, feel them, and really just have those multi-sensory experiences. So we're excited to again just fill the classrooms with a plethora of resources, especially books, rich literature with high-level vocabulary. So we're really excited about those opportunities for our youngest learners.
You know, they really do. They like books. Yes. The kiddos, they're, the bright, colorful pages, and to being able to turn the page, see what's coming up next. Yes. So what can parents do? Maybe they found out, you know what, maybe my child does need a little extra support. We want to catch them up. We want to make sure that they get back up to speed. What are some things that parents can do at home?
Sure. And so it's, a child is never too old to have a read aloud. So I always tell families, even with your children that are in 4th and 5th grade, they still really love read alouds, and it may be a chapter book. But we try to really teach them specific strategies when they're engaging in read aloud so that it makes the print come alive. And one of those strategies is by Beers and Propst, and they are two renowned literacy authors. And I learned about this strategy several years ago, and we're trying to implement this strategy in different classrooms to see how it works, with our students. And it actually is a great strategy and helps students connect to the reading and connect to their literate lives, because we know that books can change us as humans, and we have to seek other perspectives. And this strategy really helps with that. It's called the Book Head Heart. And essentially what we encourage families to do with their students is think about in the book, what is this book about? Who's telling the story? What does the author want me to know? And then in my head, what surprised me, or what challenged or confirmed my thinking, or what changed my thinking in this book? And what does the author think I already know about this topic? And finally, one of the most important parts of the strategy is in my heart. So what did I learn about myself after reading this book? And then how will this help me to become a better person? So it really is a strategy about connecting the book, the head, and the heart. And it really helps students connect to the book, whether it's the theme, the events in the book, or even the characters. And that's really powerful. Again, books can change our lives. We can change the way we feel or think about certain issues. And it's just really important to have those rich read alouds and that deep thinking, critical thinking while you're engaged in a read aloud with your families.
At night, bedtime is a time that we usually pull out that book. We want to wind down for the night. And sometimes as parents, we get a little tired and we're like, can we just flip through quickly? But it's so important to make sure that there is that comprehension happening and that there's more to the story than just the words or the pictures. So for parents to be able to just take a little extra time with their kids.
Yeah, and I want to point to some research that I think is really powerful, that if you read at least 15 minutes a day over the course of 1 year, you will have read 1 million words. So that's really that's a large number of words. And the more you read, the more you're going to grow your brain, the more you're going to know about topics that are relevant to what's going on in the world. And again, you can make those strong connections. So I always tell families, just read with your kids. Just it's such a joy, and it's an intimate time for them to be with their children, to really make a difference and make long-term gains. Because the other piece that we know for certain is that students that are in the top 5% of their class, typically they've read 144 times more than a student that has challenges. So again, we need to get those books in their hands, train our families, and just help them become literate adults.
And take those opportunities to be with our kids, because they grow up really fast before our eyes. So why not take those opportunities and really appreciate them and those moments, and connect with our kids, all read together, and it's going to benefit our kids greatly.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And we're going to have all of this for you on our WTLW 11 YouTube channel as well. We'll be right back after a quick break.